Oh man, now I'm gonna have to hear myself. I should have waited. Oops, oops. Okay, good. Alright, so I have a surprise for all of you. I will let you know what it is in a minute. Well, not really a surprise. So what did I do this morning? I said, well, let me try to play um, with this AI generator song, and I was able to make a theme song out of it. So I hope you enjoy this one. I will be right back, and we will talk about a whole bunch of stuff. Okay? It's about 2 minutes long. And I think it's fitting for the time that is in crypto. So I realize right now that the price of Bitcoin is actually 118,000. I know I put 19. It's kind of give and take, you could round it off to 119, but it seemed to be flat right now. But anyway, before that, let me play the theme song for you guys. Okay. Yep.
Let's talk Gamestop, the company so true. Not just the price, but the value in view. Fundamentals will rise or fall in time, but first we climb this mountain high. Be more invested, rise above the game. Love her or hate her, she speaks with flame. Her voice will shine like morning dew, guiding us all to see what's true. She's kind and smart, her heart so pure, generous soul that will endure. She lifts us up, she makes us fight, encourages us through the night. Think for yourself and take the lead. Build a future, plant the seed for your family, for your name. Light the fire, fan the flame. Her words will echo through the years, melting away all doubts and fears. With every truth she helps us grow, showing the path we ought to know. She's kind and smart, her heart so pure, generous soul that will endure. She lifts us up, she makes us fight, encourages us through the night. Think for yourself and take the lead. Build a future, plant the seed for your family, for your name. Like a fire, fan the flame.
Wow, I loved it. So just so you know, this is all AI. I have no idea how to make the music or anything like that. It's so crazy nowadays, you guys. AI is gonna take over everything. I'm telling you, this is crazy. But anyway, so before that happened though, we need to talk about um GameStop real quick. I know. And then also too, it's going to be a bit about, well, mostly about crypto. Because I think it's important still, because it's the next step that we are looking into, might be a new revenue stream of some sort. And it is setting up for that particular purpose because the mass adoption, the regulatory clarity, everything that is aligned right now for GameStop to use blockchain technology in order to, at least get some uh, idea whether there's a demand for that. Um, so it's important to kind of at least be aware of what is going on in that space. Understand sometimes all of this is all speculation, you guys. Okay, I don't have a crystal ball. Even Brian Cohen doesn't, know what the direction of the company. I'm not saying the company itself. I'm saying like the it due to the circumstances. Just like he said in the interview, you guys, like go and listen to the full interview. It's very insightful. And if you could take away tidbits of information, tidbits of, what it's like to operate the business like that. And he's not the type to give you a 5-year full plan of, day to day. Every year, oh, I want to do this and this and this. And what good is it to tell you what he's gonna do, rather than just showing you what he's gonna do? You know what I mean? So because showing up in life is actually much better than speaking that you're gonna show up for somebody. Right? It's more meaningful if you're just gonna show up. And typically, I think we're in a culture. I feel like it's cultural, honestly. We always talk big game. We're so kind, we're so this and that, but typically we don't really demonstrate that you are kind to people and all that stuff. I don't know why I got off to that tangent, but my point is like, and I think this is why Ryan Cohen is not, um, like it's just his personality type. Like he's so confident in what he could do with the business, and nobody could tell him otherwise. And you want that type of leadership for sure. You cannot shake, you cannot break that type of leadership because again, they know exactly what they want and want to achieve and what is realistic to achieve within a certain time frame. And with the improvement on the balance sheet itself is immensely demonstrative of his success. You could say, well, his success is based on selling shares to the market. Duh. Isn't that what the capital market is all about? Is to raise money whenever possible, whenever it's needed, whenever it's, leadership thinks it's the best fit for that, right? Now, I could understand if every time he raised money, he spent it like a lunatic, doing something foolish, like he was saying. But every time he sell those ATM, convertible notes, going into debt, right? And do you think if the debt, they have to pay 10%, 9%, or even just 2%, you think Ryan Cohen would go ahead and do that deal? Of course not. It has to be zero for it to happen. So he had the negotiation power, you guys. Like people don't really understand that. I don't know what else to say for people to understand that. I'm hoping that new people who come in will understand, hey, there's some fundamental here, or want to know that there's some fundamental here. Would typically learn, at least, right, that the price action is not the price action. It's not indicative of anything. If anything, it's just the sentiment of, people trading in and out, or whatever the structure of the market that allows the liquidity to flow through into that moment in time. So it's all about liquidity and how much money they have from other stuff, right? People have this speculation where crypto is used to, pump and dump and all that stuff. That's probably right? Because crypto is traded 24-hour, 27 a week. 27 a week, what the hell? 24 hours, 7 days a week. So, so there's a constant movable liquidity that you could move through the crypto market. Okay. So you're not stuck. You're not feeling like, oh man, you have to wait until Monday in order to sell or buy or whatever. So it's going to react so quickly. And so if you don't understand the dynamic of that and still think that because the price coming down, that therefore the company's doing terribly, then you're missing the whole point, right? Because oftentimes, good companies doing well doesn't mean that they get recognized right away. Market takes time. Market takes a couple of, I don't know, 2 quarters for people to realize, oh, GameStop do what? I mean, look at the Palantir, right? Palantir was so low, at one point, and then boom, 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 right? So now you can't get it back down because people are just late to the game, and newcomers, they think, oh, well, it's only gonna go up. And on top of that, they were in the S&P 500. So that is what we want. And just count it as a blessing while GME is still at this low price, because you might not be able to accumulate maybe next year, 2 years from now, whatever. So the longer the base, the better for you, because that means you're gonna be able to buy more shares. Now, I know for a fact that this time around, when when Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever, well, I don't have Ethereum as much right now. I just recently established my position, so I'm planning to add more Ethereum because I feel like the breakout is imminent, due to the dominance of Bitcoin. Dominance coming out in influence. Not to say that Bitcoin in and of itself will crash in price. Bitcoin will stay at this level until getting ready for the next leg up, right? Meanwhile, this is the best time to buy into altcoins. See, that's why you see altcoins doing much better now. Okay, it's just again still inching its way. But before that, let me look at GameStop price. Now, we've been expecting a run for quite some time since over here, right? But it never happened. And what I want to say about that is sometimes you just have to wait for the right moment. Just like what Brian Cohen said. Sometimes you just have to wait. You don't need to worry about missing out. There will be opportunity everywhere, and he said he will look everywhere to find that opportunity. And the opportunity that he's looking for is for the lowest downside protection. Like, there's no downside to what he, as much as possible. And there's a lot of upside opportunity. Okay. So if Ethereum, have low risk in that, he will buy Ethereum. If XRP has low risk, then he will buy XRP. See what I mean? So, and on top of that, we might be able to play in that blockchain, arena of just letting people transact whatever currency they want to transact. And so if let's say, because we believe in Bitcoin, right? Or whatever, or XRP, or whatever, Doge, you just let people spend those, currency. Now, if we don't care about crypto, then we'll just convert it to cash or stable coin. You think that's not going to happen? Can. We totally could do that business. And it would be in high demand too. Because I'm telling you, crypto is here to stay and it's going to grow. In market cap, trillions of dollars is flowing into it. You know why? Because it's useful. It can be useful. I know people are gonna scare the shit out of you saying, oh, it's shitcoin and all that stuff. Yes, there are shitcoins out there. So that's why you have to educate yourself. Okay? And don't be a sheep. Learn. Go read. Go listen to people who are actually, have your best interest in mind. And not interested in having you following them blindly. Okay? Because, if you are highly educated, highly critical, highly whatever, and if you're speaking the truth, then you don't really care whether people are, calling you out on your bullshit or not. See what I mean? And so, and stay consistent, or reserve your right to change your mind, right? That's what growth is all about. Is sometimes you just have to come out and put yourself out there, and if you're wrong, admit that you're wrong, right? So it's very rare to have people in your corner to call you out on your bullshit. So that's why I'm always seeking people who are disagreeing with me, right? Or at least not people, but like the seeking the different opinion that I could get my hands on as much as possible, right? And then I come up with my own conclusion, I listen to both sides, and then I'm like, okay, which model makes sense to me the most, and I align myself to that particular framework. So every framework, it's custom to my own, understand of the world, understand of the market, understand of, whatever company that I investing in or instrument, right? So, for example, XLM. Why am I buying XLM more than XRP? Well, what I've noticed in the past is that just because it's happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen again. However, it could rhyme in some way. In the past, whatever XRP is doing, XLM will follow the success of XRP. And typically, because the market cap is so low, this will follow in a much aggressive way. So it will return much more than XRP. Even though XRP could be used as a backbone of the financial system, this will follow. I'm not planning to hold XLM for the longest time. I do have a portion in which I won't ever sell, even if it goes up to $100 a coin this time around. I'm not going to do that. I'm not saying it's going to go to $100 a coin either. But what I'm saying is that I don't know what the value is at this moment in time because it's just so new still. And the development is not even half of what it is yet. You're just on the beginning stage of what it is, of the development of the blockchain technology, and in the same way they use to settle, the settlement and all that stuff. So it's still a experiment, so to speak. However, right now, it is a mass adoption. I think, when people were deterred from using the technology, is it because they were scared of what it might do to the financial system, the stability or instability of the financial system. Because my point about that is that if it's so unstable, if the current financial system is so unstable, to the point where when new disruptive technology is entered to the market, then it's not really robust, is it? Right? And so what you want to do is to find out what is the best route for improving so that, any new things wouldn't even affect what is happening in the old system there. I think the only reason why they're so fearful of that is because we're operating in a debt-based system. That, the only way to get out of whatever solution is to have someone lose out and someone win. And typically, working class, middle class is going to take a hit unless you know what direction to go into. And I'm thinking, much like when Obama was the president, healthcare was the sector you should be getting into, because the policy was, everybody needs a healthcare, and it boosts the revenue of a whole bunch of health insurance stock market, type, because again, revenue comes from the top there. So that's the industry back then. Now, it's so obvious which industry you should be focusing on or have at the very least 40% of your network if you want to make any meaningful amount of money, right? Meaningful amount of money for the generation to come. Well, it depends on where you start at, right? If you have $10,000 right now and it turns into 10x from here, right? It would be 100,000. That's a lot of money for a lot of people. Okay. So, and then you could scale it anytime or any amount of money from there. My point is, you guys, the industry is set up for that massive development in that. So, banks coming, institution is coming, and corporation is also going to come for crypto as well. And again, it's not just Bitcoin either. This revolution is for every other coins out there too. But yes, so there's a lot of scammers out there too, where they would just create some meme coins and all that stuff, right? Just to get you distracted. Not to say you won't make money on meme coin at all. You just need to know what meme coin is worth it, right? You need to understand the supply, what is in circulation right now. I would pick something that is fully diluted, because there's no further dilution no matter what happens. So that's what keeps the value up. And with Bitcoin, that's the reason why people just trust Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has unlimited limited coins there is, and there's only 5 more percentage of coin that will still be mined. And even then, each year, each 4 years that goes by, halvening, that reward get cut in half. And so in the next, I think, for the 20 years, in the next 20 years, you're going to see 5% coming into the market. So technically, if you were to, divide that by 20 years, this is the inflation, okay, for less than 1%. This is the Bitcoin inflation for now, right? Until the whole 21 million coin is being mined. So you could be sure that there's some inflation here, but very small compared to the dollar. And this will happen over the 20 years. Now, like I said, each 4 years, you're going to see that inflation going down even more. The inflation rate, sorry. And then eventually it's going to be 0. Okay. But if the demand outweighs the supply, you could be sure that the price is going to keep going higher. Yeah. Again, that's why Michael Saylor is so adamant about it. And I think it's right about that, the direction of Bitcoin, at least in the very, 10 years from now type thing. People will still be chasing Bitcoin's prices, and will still be a segment somewhere saying, is it too high to buy it right now? It's $100 million. Is it too high? It's like people are gonna be so ridiculous. Like, yeah, it's never gonna happen. Bitcoin at $10 million, people are gonna be like, oh, is it too high? Like, I feel like it's too high. It's too expensive. Well, 10 years ago, you could get it at 100,000. Anywho, very quiet today. No idea what's going on here. But let's listen in. Now, this is a tsunami, tsunami of cash coming in, okay? And it's from the 401k. If this is true, if Trump is able to get the 401k people to jump into crypto. Now, I've been wanting this for so long, you guys. I'm telling you, like, I've been trying to find a way to get my 401k so that I could, put that all into Bitcoin actually. Because Bitcoin I could wait for the next whatever, my retirement, like 30 years, you guys. So it really doesn't matter what price I get Bitcoin in at. And it's the most stable, coins out there. Of course, XRP too, if I can. That would be like $9 trillion market cap. So a business or whatever. Not saying that, all $9 trillion will go into crypto. That's ridiculous. But at least if you could get just 10% of that go to Bitcoin or the crypto market, that would still be immensely, that's $1 trillion right there. Capital flow. Now, yes, if you own the S&P 500, there's a small portion of the company that are actually Bitcoin related, but you are diluting yourself. What if you want to go into the industry head on? Just highly concentrate in that industry because that one industry is going to outperform every other industry because it's new, because it's been suppressed, because it's been told that it was a scam and now it's the best opportunity ever, right? And of course, there's a lot of fear associated with that as well, to say that it's going to be unstable, people are going to be losing money, and then a lot of blaming going on, a lot of misunderstanding that the, crypto in and of itself is scamming people while, they don't understand the fundamental of each coin act as a network, okay? And so if you own those tokens, you actually own part of the network. If you own Bitcoin, you own Bitcoin network, part of the network, so that you could transact with the people that are in that network. Does that make sense? And if you own XRP, yes, you could transact directly with the people that have XRP ledger, using XRP ledger to do whatever they want to do, right? And so if a lot of stuff is building on top of the XRP ledger, not only that you could transact with the network of Bitcoin people, you could transact on the network of the new things that the next generation is going to build upon that ledger. And so it's about layering onto the blockchain. It's not so much the base layer so much, because the base layer is just a basic, like you could transfer value from this to this, right? That's why ETH has 2 layers. Okay, layer 1, layer 2. Layer 1 is too expensive, so people created layer 2. That's where loop ring comes in. Okay. Anyway, so let's listen to this gentleman here. 3 minutes.
So by now, most people should readily understand that if President Donald Trump says he's going to do something, he means it, and it's going to get done. That being the case, he did mention that he was going to open up retirement accounts to crypto investments, and that is a huge, huge development because that's a $9 trillion market for the 401k plans alone. When you add all retirement accounts put together in the United States, because there's more than just 401ks, we're talking about a $14 trillion market. The crypto market's about a $3.8 trillion market currently. That's the market cap for that. So this would allow a lot of people, even if they just put in 5 to 10% of their holdings into crypto assets. That's a huge increase for the market cap of cryptocurrency itself. It's a big deal. I mean, it should give us a little bit more of an opportunity, hopefully, to have more control over where our monies are invested, reduce the fees, hopefully, because 401ks, in my opinion, have been a bit scammy. They're very expensive, really, over the long haul, and you're just limited to whatever they want you to invest in, and they're typically in-house type investments. So not normally a really good deal for people all the way around. None of us are retiring as millionaires with 401k plans. But if you open it up to these other types of investments and give the consumer or the employee, the worker, more control and more choice, more real choice over where they can allocate their funds, I think it would help them greatly to retire much more comfortably. But this, as nascent and young as cryptocurrency is, this is a great time to start pushing this because they just passed that Genius Act, and we know that those stablecoins, they have to live on a blockchain. And my bet is that most of them are going to choose to be native on the XRP ledger. There will be other blockchains, but I think that'll be the primary blockchain for large amounts of value. So I'm sure you can read that, so you might want to pause and increase that there. But I'm liking what's going on. The crypto market's taking a little bit of a break. That's normal. It's healthy. It's just going to take a quick breath. It's, I think, at about 340, 343, right around there right now. XRP is, and so maybe we'll be heading up to north of $4 toward the end of the month. Maybe we'll see. I'm pretty optimistic at this point. I think we're going to see a banging fourth quarter, if I could use that term, but it's going to be crazy. I think it's exciting to see what's happening now, and most of us are starting to realize that when the legislative branch gets together and starts making the rules of the road, the rules of the game, it's game on. Institutions start to play, and that's when the real value starts coming into the crypto industry and whatever coin or crypto you've invested in. If you've chosen well, you're going to do really well. But this is exciting stuff. I know I'm on the road right now. I just thought I'd take a minute to talk to you guys. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and bookmark. And I will see you guys on the next one. Enjoy the weekend. Till next time. Adios, amigos.
So, yeah, if you choose well, you're going to do well. Okay, so for the big guys out there, they're choosing Bitcoin. Some with GameStop, obviously, right? It's built into the share already. So okay, I'm set for that. I have XLM for my own reason. You could pick whatever you want to pick, right? And so long as you understand, the utility and the potential, okay, that it might be useful for whatever the new financial system would be. It's kind of scary, right? Because if you don't know whether it's going to be used or not, like, remember there was a debate, for the longest time they keep saying that, well, it's not going to be used, it's not going to be used. Nobody's going to be used XRP. Nobody would want to build on the XRP ledger and all this stuff. There's a lot of misconception out there. And I really think the reason why nobody wanted to build on the XRP ledger, not because it's not useful, it was because of the regulation. Had the SEC didn't go after XRP would have been, I'm sure, the number 2 right now, due to its speed, due to its, ability to scale and all that stuff. So now the floodgate is open. And so that's why I bet heavily onto the XRP ledger rather than Ethereum. I'm not saying Ethereum won't go higher. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm sure Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin in terms of percentage. Again, I have to be clear on that because people are going to be, going crazy. Hey, happy. Stay happy. What's up? Thank you for reporting for attendance. You're late though. Yeah. Okay. Um, so with that though, I feel like the XRP ledger got so suppressed. And anytime you suppress anything, you guys, come on. You know this as a GameStop investor. The pressure is going to build up to the point where you can't contain it anymore. And this is where you see the pressure release of price point going crazy. Like nobody's going to understand why XRP is going to outperform not only Bitcoin but Ethereum in this cycle here. Because it's powerful, you guys. It's powerful when you are being suppressed for a long, long time. You guys, look at this. Okay, hold on. I know technical analysis and all that stuff. Not a technical person, but you see this breakout right here? This is a trend line breakout of the last decade. What's that? From 2018 to now. Okay. Crazy. A lot of years. Lots of pressure being built over here. So yeah, the trend line is already been broken, and this is only 6 days. So if this weekly candle close way above that trend line, all bets are on. Right now, you could say that this is also, one of the, just to hit all of the thing, right? Maybe it hasn't been breaking out yet. This is the beauty of, technical analysis. You could just move that lines everywhere you want, best fit your model. No, but just to say that it reached its all-time high. Okay, it's still trading at all-time high right now, and so price discovery is coming. Just have to be patient. Obviously, you see a little bit of. Let me see. I think if you do a daily, you could see it more clearly. So apparently, hold on, let me zoom in real quick, you guys. So this line right here was the all-time high. So it's already been bouncing off of that, like retesting, that 3 hours. There we go. So you could see that this is turning into a support now. Okay. So, if you want to be sure, you have to wait until this weekly candle close above that. And so, yeah, it's just an indicator that price discovery is here for XRP. Now, ETH also have done pretty well in the past few days, and it's coming to that crescendo. Okay. So we're looking for this breakout right here, because remember, Ethereum has not break its all-time high yet. Okay, you could still see all-time high over here. So typically the cycle goes, Bitcoin will reach its all-time high and then just stay in. Hold on, let me just put this one right here. And this cycle, again, it's been looked at, compared to for a very long time. Just like over here. When Bitcoin runs, typically there's a moment in time in which altcoin gets the shine, which is Ethereum. Because Ethereum is the number one altcoin that there is in the world, right? And so this is going to do it, do that same thing again. So this is 2001. This is when even GameStop go berserk too, right? Around this time right here. So Bitcoin went crazy, altcoin went crazy. Ethereum, went up to, what is it, 4,000. Okay. So if you were to buy Ethereum around here versus Bitcoin, you would have done better in Ethereum than Bitcoin. Okay. So we are at that level right now where this time right here, if you buy Bitcoin versus Ethereum, you would do better with Bitcoin. So this is when you rotate. And typically this is where, the institution probably got, a hint like, hey, it's time to rotate back into altcoin, which is where we are right now. So that's why you see a sudden sudden search. Am I having a stroke right now? Search of price action here for Ethereum, and it's going to break that trend line within a couple of weeks here and multi-months. You're gonna wake up one day and see Ethereum hitting its all-time high and beyond. Okay, the same way as over here. If you look at the all-time high back then, right there. Okay, let me take that off. So all-time high, breakthrough, but this is the time in which it breaks through that triangle. Okay, so that's what we're waiting on. Now, other coins that are on the Ethereum network will do well as well, like Loopring. I'm sure Loopring's gonna do well. Chainlink's gonna do well. It's already outperformed Ethereum already. So, and then Arbitrum's gonna do well because Robinhood is using it as well. So people are gonna want to have some exposure to that. I did have some exposure to Arbitrum, but I really didn't want to hold onto it. Regret it immensely now. I should have held on to it, but I sold for a small profit there. I guess my thought about that is I don't know about the network that well, so I don't know how it's being used. I should learn some. I should learn more about that. Data Todd, I need more shares. Let's go. You can. If you want to buy more, go ahead, buy more. I mean, yeah. I know for a fact that if all of this crypto going berserk, I'm gonna have so many GameStop shares at the end of this bull run for crypto. So, I'm planning to come back to GameStop when, well, let me preface this by saying I still have my moon back. Okay, I'm just talking about my additional shares here. Okay, don't be like, oh my god, she's so loud. Oh my god, like people are crazy sometimes. Like really, like they think that people should act in unison and all that stuff. Great, if you could get people to act in unison, good luck. You know. I would love that, because the world would have been a better place for sure, if people are more kind to each other, or, I guess looking out for each other best interests, right, rather than for your own. I think we would live in a different places right now in life. But the world doesn't work that way. There's a lot of selfish people who would love for you to do something, but for them to not. It's like, well, why do I have to do that? Okay. But oftentimes, people don't realize that, sometimes you need some community to, I guess if you have to pick the community, make sure it's the right one for you. See what I mean? And again, that's why people call us a cult and all that stuff, just to invest in GameStop. Really? Cultish? Sure, whatever. It's just a negative connotation for people to tell other people, make themselves feel better about themselves, making that decision not to invest in GameStop. But then they're gonna regret it, you know. The same way, like when people are telling you that crypto is a scam and all that stuff, right? How many people, even me, like, listen, you guys, I regret not holding on to my Bitcoin. For sure. Had I held and buy more and not like block out the stupid noise that I'm hearing about people saying it's the this and this and this, right? And again, it's all media fuel. Okay, they just hear it from some reporter reporting that it is scamming, right? Oh, so and so lost their seed phrase, therefore it's a scam, right? And they don't really understand, okay, well, the seed phrase is like a key. You cannot give a seed phrase to somebody and thinking that it's a scam. You have to learn to protect your own, your key phrase in order to not be scammed. And just because you lose your Bitcoin or your Ethereum, your whatever crypto, to some scammer doesn't mean that the actual thing is a scam. And so, people who understand self-custody know this very well. Okay. And so institutional, right? They understood that. That's why they have been slowly, building the infrastructure for other people to buy into crypto. And now they're ready to sell to the masses, right? And so all of a sudden, it's not scammy anymore. All of a sudden, it's the best opportunity ever in recent history. So read in between the line. And like I said, every single presidency have the industry in which they want to support. Okay, and if you are not positioning yourself into that industry, you're going to be left behind. Every other industry is going to underperform, and not even inflation, could save you. Or sorry, not even deflation could save you, because the inflation after the deflation is going to, decimate your wealth or buying power. Right? Even if you have $1 million cash, right? In 10 years, how much can you buy in $1 million, you think? Versus 10 years ago, if you have $1 million 10 years ago, you think you could retire? Hell yes. But today, you think you could retire on $1 million? You probably could live comfortably, but not retire. You would still have to go to work. I know $1 million sounds a lot, but what if, cost of living is going to go higher and higher? One meal is going to be $20 or even $30 plus tips, and you'll be expected to pay tips, right? So it's never. Excuse me. I just went to Rubio with my mom yesterday, and I didn't buy any drink. My mom got a drink, 2 plates, regular meals, $30. That same meal used to cost us $21 at one point. Now it's $30. That's my point. So even though, Bitcoin's gonna be $1 million, probably a little bit higher because of that realization and people FOMOing in, right? Guys, don't be so naive to think that it won't happen. It will happen. It's not far-fetched to think that it's going to be. $1 million this cycle. But if you look at the stock to flow, right? So let's go back here. I haven't shown this one for a while, so let's look at it. Stock to flow. Okay, stock to flow. Bitcoin. This one right here. Hope everybody's still awake. I know, a bit boring today. Or every day, who knows? I feel like I'm disseminating the best information in the whole world, in the whole wide world. Okay, so this is the stock to flow. And my estimate for this, fair value thingy, right? The thingy, the line, it just represents the fair value of Bitcoin, right? According to the stock to flow, supply, and the flow of money coming in. Okay. Since the supply is fixed, the flow of money, happen in short bursts. Okay. Because over time, as time goes on, the network goes bigger, more and more people realizing, oh shit, I need Bitcoin rather than Bitcoin needing me to go higher. I mean, as long as you just keep trending this up like this, So at one moment in time, you're gonna see that people will be overestimating the value of Bitcoin. And that's what you see up here. Many a times you see that not everyone typically overestimate the value of Bitcoin, except now. Now people are underestimate the value of Bitcoin because now it's under fair value. Okay? Right, just like right here. People will underestimate the value of Bitcoin. Okay? And the best opportunity to buy is around here. If you buy over here, you would have 10x your money already in 2 years. Right? That's why people buy the dip on Bitcoin will inevitably be okay. Now, this cycle here, I think it's kind of similar to this cycle here. You know how it grind up, and all of a sudden, boom, parabolic. Okay? So it went from $1,000 to $16,000. So that's 16x from here when it break it all-time high. Okay, or 10x, let's say. So yeah, it's about to do that again. People are falling asleep at the wheel. That won't never happen. Anyway, sorry. I'm always like trying to imitate people, and I don't like that. I don't know how to do it. Sounds terrible when I do it. So this will give you a little bit more of a framework, the all-time high. So we're all trying to see whether this cycle here, the current cycle, is going to be the same as this one right here. So as time goes on, right, you're gonna see that spike that makes no sense at all on the valuation, on anything, because people are FOMOing in, you guys. And yes, there will be people who lose a lot of money at the end of this. So make sure that you're not one of them. Chasing something that is crazy, okay? But if you want to ride the momentum and you know exactly what point you are, That's why they developed this model for people to be cautious. Um, if you look at this model here and still think that Bitcoin is overvalued, at any given in the history of the price point that you're seeing, anytime it's in the green, right? It's still fair value, like under fair value. What is fair value? It's the yellow zone, okay, according to this model. And so with this news about 401k coming in, right? You think institution are not front running this already? So institution is already locked in and they're ready to pump it up to you. So get a seat in the ticket or get a ticket and then stay put. Yeah. In my opinion, the train has not left the train station yet, but it's about to. But this train is falling off the cliff, okay? So you have to know when to jump off before it falls off the cliff. Fortunately for you, you have a roadmap, okay? I'm not going to try to climb the top. Not at all with my crypto. With Ethereum going higher, I'm thinking around, oh man, this could go up forever too, you guys. But I think there's a lot more competition now in the altcoin space. I think instead of Ethereum going up, I mean, you could extrapolate this, right? So let's just say around $10,000 there. Might, people might overestimate the value and then come crashing down. But even then, you still have about 2x to go. But people will start, even institutions will start to trim off some of their position if they have like billions and billions of dollars in it, you guys. So institution will be the one that crash the price too when they are ready to take profit. So be vigilant, know what you hold, know what is best for you, and stay calm. Okay. I mean, with GME, you cannot go wrong with that. Right? If Bitcoin is undervalued, then GME is severely undervalued in terms of equity, in terms of, the sentiment that could arise from this. I think the sentiment right now, they want you to believe that it's dead. Nobody cares about Gamestop. Look at it. No volume and all that stuff. And then before you know it, you have this spike right here. But yeah, I truly hope that it's going to be low until I'm ready to jump back in. If they keeping it this low, man, like it's so enticing, right? And if I have a lump sum from crypto too, oh goodness, I will accumulate more. Okay, thank you for giving me this low price for sure. Okay, I guess I will let you go and I will play my theme song. Have you hear about it? Hold on, actually, have to find it now. Here we go. Alright guys, I will let you be and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.
Let's talk and stop the company so true. Not just the price, but the value in view. Fundamentals will rise or fall in time, but first we climb this mountain high. Be more invested, rise above the game. Love her or hate her, she speaks with flame. Her voice will shine like morning dew, guiding us all to see what's true. She's kind and smart, her heart so pure, generous soul that will endure. She lifts us up, she makes us fight, encourages us through the night. Think for yourself and take the lead. Build a future, plant the seed for your family, for your name. Light the fire, fan the flame. Her words will echo through the years, melting away all doubts and fears. With every truth she helps us grow, showing the path we ought to know. She's kind and smart, her heart so pure, generous soul that will endure. She lifts us up, she makes us fight, encourages us through the night. Think for yourself and take the lead. Build a future,